Hey guys, okay, I'm so excited to share this project with you. This is your fifth grade independent novel study. It is one of my most favorite projects that you guys will complete this school year because it allows you the opportunity to select the novel that interests you and then complete a project that really just allows you to be creative and show your understanding of the novel. So the independent novel study is a pumpkin project. I'm going to get to that in just a minute, but let's take a look at this packet. So this is the very first page that you should have in front of you. Go ahead and push pause on this video if you don't have your packets yet. We'll get those handed out and then we'll talk through this packet briefly together. Okay, so then now that you have your packets, the very first thing that you need to do is write your name on that top line where it says name. Please put your first and your last name. After we talk through this packet is going to live in your zipper binder behind the reading tab. That's where you want to keep it. There's a lot of pages in this. A lot of them will be turned in for your final grade. And if you don't have one of the pages, you will lose points in your final grade. So you want to make sure that you keep up with everything that is in this packet. So the independent novel study is going to run for 2 months. This project is going to be due on Tuesday, October 30th. You are going to select a novel from the list below. This is an independent project, which means you will need to determine your pace at home. By October 30th, you need to have read the entire novel and completed the project. Your final project is going to consist of a book summary that you may write by hand or you may type, and an actual pumpkin that you have transformed into a character from your novel. You are going to also complete and prepare a 2-minute oral presentation on your project. There are going to be more details that come home related to the oral component once we get closer to the due date, so don't panic about that yet. There are also going to be some real-life examples of completed pumpkins that I'm going to post to Google Classroom under the topic Reading Independent Novel Study. Some of the pumpkins that we had last year were just amazing, and I want you guys to see those. And then within this packet, there were some examples included as well. So the novel options that you have are The Kidnapped Prince, Behind the Border, George Washington Carver, Harriet Tubman, and Esperanza Rising. All of these are wonderful books. I think you will enjoy any of them that you select. So you need to be deciding which one of these books you will be reading for your novel study. The final project is the Pumpkin Book Project. So over these next few pages, are all of the details and components of the project. It's broken out by pages here, and it tells you what is on each page. So page 1 is going to tell you how to turn a pumpkin into a book character. You guys can flip through this as we talk about them. You are not going to need to bring in a copy of the novel on the final project presentation day. Pages 2 and 3 are the Pumpkin Book Project directions and planner. You are going to need to complete the project planner to help you figure out how to pace yourself. I've given you some guidelines there, but you want to make sure that you have it figured out so you're not waiting until the very last moment to read your novel and complete the project. You are going to be turning in the planner with your final project, so that is a part of your grade. You have a reading log that you're going to complete. You need to complete this as you go. You have to do a 1-sentence summary for each section that you read. So if you sit down and read 4 chapters, you need to do a 1-sentence summary of what you read. You can do more than 1 sentence, but the 1 sentence is the minimum. You have to use complete sentences, and it has to be done in cursive. Then you have a story map. You're going to complete this as you read. You can print the information and use short answer, brief facts, or details, and this is going to be turned in with your final project as well. Page 8, character traits. It explains character traits and what you're going to do on the following pages. So pages 9 and 10, you're going to complete this chart as characters are introduced into your novel. Text-based evidence is text from your novel that supports the character trait you've selected. If you have only one main character, then you're going to use this chart to list multiple character traits. If you have more than one main character, you're going to use this chart to describe the traits for your multiple characters. You can print the information on this chart, and this is also going to be turned in with your final project. Character traits, you are only going to complete the section at the bottom. You need to answer in complete sentences and use cursive. Now you have the pumpkin project pages with lines. You're going to write a summary of your book. You're using the story map to help you complete it. You need to include what happens in the beginning, middle, and end of your novel. You also need to include information about your character and how their character traits impacted them throughout the course of their novel. Your book summary can be written on the pages provided, or you may type it. If you choose to type it, then you need to use Times New Roman, font size 12, and you have to have your CPA heading. So down here at the bottom, your summary does have to be 5 paragraphs. 5 is the minimum, and I've kind of given you the guidelines here of what to include in each paragraph. If you select behind the border, send me an email, and when you get to your summary, we can talk about how to complete your summary, because that book jumps back and forth a little bit in the way that it was written. So if you select that book, just send me an email and I'll tell you how to structure your book summary. The planning page you are going to complete to sketch out your pumpkin and make a list of the materials that you're going to need. And then page 16 is the pumpkin book project. You're going to complete this in cursive, and you are turning this in with your final project. I'm going to use that to help get your grade and kind of organize everything. And then you will have a self-evaluation that you're going to complete. You are going to check yes or no and write a one-sentence self-reflection about the project. And then pages 18 and 19, if you choose to do a paper version of your pumpkin, you can use the template attached. Last year, some students selected real pumpkins, which is totally fine. If you select a real pumpkin, just be cognizant that real pumpkins rot. So you don't want to do your pumpkin and create it 2 weeks before your due date if you're using a real pumpkin, because it might be kind of stinky when you bring it in. If you go to Michael's or Target or Walmart, they sell craft pumpkins that are cardboard. Some of them are styrofoam. Those would be wonderful to do. Several students selected those last year, and they found that it was easier to get materials to stick to the pumpkin when it's cardboard versus sticking to a real live pumpkin. So we will talk about that a little bit more when we get closer to you needing to start that aspect of your project. So just know that you have options when you are completing the actual pumpkin piece. So I am so looking forward to seeing these projects. We will spend an entire day dedicated to these presentations and y'all sharing what you have created and what you've learned from the novel and how you feel about the novel that you selected. So I am so excited about it. If you have any questions about this project after you get home and you look through this packet with mom or dad, please send me an email. But just know that you have 2 months to complete it. And this is in addition to the schoolwork that we are completing on a regular basis. So I hope you guys get excited about it. And I can't wait to see what you come up with.